And there it is! Level 40 smithing. We can now smelt gold ore. We are done. Done with the skeletons. I've been here forever. Over a month of just the same room. Oh my god, 250 hours. And so far, I think that's almost 400 hours in total, and I dare say we're still 200 to 300 off level 70. This skill has absolutely surpassed my expectations. It is getting to be ridiculous. But I guess, you know, we got some really decent stats that came out of it, and I'm really happy with those base 80s. I'm actually going to head off to Ogres, and I think I'm going to finish off that level 80 defense so I can just make it nice and round, and it'll actually look pretty sweet. I'm also very, very close to level 65 prayer, which is insane in itself. So, hello and welcome back to episode 24 of the TirannwnOnly Ultimate Ironman, and let's get into it. And would you look at that, a little bit of prayer XP coming in. It's worth probably about an hour worth of construction XP if I could turn it in, but we don't live in the real world, we live in Tirannwn, and that's a nice little prayer bonus. Oh, curve bone, they're like 1 in 5k, but once again, another 15 prayer XP for me. Okay, here we go. 1 bone, 2 bone, 3 bone for level 65 prayer. That is huge on this account. I never, ever thought I could get anything like this just from burying bones, all types of bones. But that is ridiculous. I am honestly lost for words. I never thought it possible when I first started this account. And there it is, level 80 defense unlocked. That is base 80 melee stats on the account. I'm honestly so chuffed that I found this spot to train at the Ogres. Super AFK, super easy to reset aggro, and the XP is like double what I was getting at Skeletons. I also realized during that defense grind, we just hit 100 combat on the account, triple digits. I have never, ever done that in this game before. I've wanted it since I was a kid. It has been a pipe dream of mine, and honestly, I don't know why I'd never did it before, but it is all the more satisfying to have on this account. Level 100. Bit of smithy XP coming in with a new method. Level 40 to 50 is going to be gold ore from imps, and 50 to 70 is going to be mithril ore on top of that. This new method is going to be heaps faster than killing skeletons, so it's really nice to finally have unlocked. I didn't think I'd be back at imps so soon. I just got off the saddle and now I'm already back on, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And back over a 100k cash stack. I had to drop below earlier to repair the crystal shield, but it feels good to be earning some cash again. These levels are very few and far between, but that is level 34 farming. And that's actually quite a big one, as we can now start tithe farm, which is going to be something that we're going to need to do later down the line. It's, you know, it's ages and ages away still, but it's nice to know that we finally unlocked it. And a new smithing level coming in off the fresh grind for level 41 smithing. It's honestly so much faster than skeletons, and it makes me really hopeful that I can smash out level 70 for Song of the Elves. And that is level 71 hunter. And you know, training smithing this way isn't actually the worst thing in the world. Level 75 hunter was actually something I wanted to go for anyway for magpie imps, so this works out. I actually lined this one up perfectly for level 42 smithing and level 65 magic. Hey, you bloody mongrel, get off it, that's mine. Yeah, that's what I thought. Get yoinked. And that is level 43 smithing. Oh mate, come on, leave some imps for the rest of us, would ya? And there we have level 72 hunter. We're honestly smashing through these levels. It's taken a fair chunk of time, but it's going well. Honestly though, it's a grind that you guys have all seen before in the last episode, and I already skipped over killing all the skeletons earlier as it's just too hard to get a lot of content out of. It's nothing exciting, you know, it's just the same old one spot, same couple of drops, nothing ever changes. But as we approach level 50 smithing, there is something I've been considering. As with the state of my invent at the moment, once I hit level 50 smithing and clear out the coal and mithril ore I have stashed up, I'll actually have the most amount of invent space I'm going to have probably until I reach Song of the Elves. And so with that said, I want to try and see if killing Zulrah would at all be a possibility. The next grind I'm looking to tackle is construction, and I'm going to need around 2,500 lore runes to tackle that. So Zulrah is going to be one of the best bets in the area to get some lore runes, as wizards and elves don't tend to drop them very reliably. So we're going to suss out if we can kill Zulrah. I'm going to hop over to my main account, I'm going to get a bunch of different gear setups, a bunch of different strategies, and I'm going to see if Zulrah really is going to be possible to take on TirannwnOnly. I don't want to test it on TirannwnOnly as my supplies are very finite and very, very precious, especially the sharks and Karen ones, as I'm going to need those for Saren, as God knows how many attempts that might take. So I really don't want to be wasting supplies on Zulrah attempts, as it may just not be possible. And just quickly guys, only around 30% of you are subscribed, so if you're part of that other 70% and you actually enjoy the content and you want to see more, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We're going for around 40k by the end of the year, and I reckon we can hit it. And finally, if you want to see more of me and you want to see live progress, head over to twitch.tv/Turtletale and drop a follow. As of the end of this week, I'm going to be starting live streaming, and I finally moved out of home. I've got myself an office and a space that I can live stream 3 to 4 days a week consistently. So if you want to see that, drop a follow, and I'll see you over there. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, this is the first setup we're going with, range only. This account's stats aren't actually too dissimilar to TirannwnOnly's, its melees are a bit lower, range is a bit lower. The biggest difference is that it has 99 mage. But in the grand scheme, we're just testing out if it's even going to be viable. The biggest difference is that we have a lot more invent space than what TirannwnOnly will, and we're currently using anti-venom plus. Like I said, it's just to see if it's viable. I really don't think this range gear is going to be even close enough to be able to kill Zulrah, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Okay, this run is definitely a bust. We've barely got it down to over 100 health. We're already halfway through a second rotation, a completely random phase, and there come the mage hits out of nowhere. Yeah, no, I didn't think range only was going to be viable. Our gear just isn't up to scratch. And as handy as the crystal bow is, it's just not putting out enough DPS. Although, once I do get to Prif, range only is probably going to be the main way that I kill it, but for now, it's just not going to happen with this method. So we know that range only was a bust, but what's the difference between range and mage only? So comparatively, the DPS, not that different. We're looking about 1 damage per second for range and 1.3 damage per second for mage. Where it really differs is the actual method and your placement on the island. When taking Zulrah on with mage only, you can't damage the Tanzanite phase as shown by the 0.17 DPS. So what you do is hide behind a pillar and you completely negate the damage that it can output to you. The Tanzanite phase also happens to be the most dangerous phase when facing Zulrah, as it can randomly shoot range attacks even though you're praying mage, and it can hit you off prayer, which is where a lot of the damage that you take comes from. So by completely hiding from the Tanzanite phase, your sustain goes through the roof, and the DPS actually goes from 1.3 per second to around 1.9. We're increasing the amount of time that we get to spend on the island, and the amount of food that we actually save. And in terms of TirannwnOnly and not having access to anti-poisons or anti-venoms, this is huge, as the damage we'll be taking from those other mechanics is going to be massive. So we'll gear up, we'll try and go for a mage only, and we'll see how we fare. So this is the gear we currently have on the account, minus the mystic gloves and the mystic boots, which we'll eventually get from Magpie Implings. The blue d'hide chaps I know give a negative 10 magic attack bonus, so they do tank that a bit, but the defensive bonuses they give, especially against the snakelings, will be quite large. So we'll play around with that on the island and see where we stand. Okay, so in comparison to range only, we're off to a cracker of a start, and this is actually looking like it might be possible. I'm pretty happy with this. We've got a decent rotation, we take such little damage comparatively. This could work. So for our second rotation, we hit rotation 4, which obviously you're not meant to do on mage only, as you can't hide behind the pillar here to safe spot it as you're in the poison cloud. I was pretty much out of food, and Zulrah was really only at about half health. But it went a lot better than I expected it to. It's still a ways off for completion on TirannwnOnly, as obviously this account has 99 mage, it has anti-venom, it has way more invent space, but I'm honestly pretty happy with how that went, and I think another couple of goes, we might be able to do it. Okay, so this is another gear setup that I wanted to try. I did forget the Amulet of Glory for this trip, but the Glory and the Mystic Robe bottoms are actually drops that I can get from Dragon Implings. Now, Dragon Implings are a long way off for the account, and I honestly don't know if it's something I want to try and go for, or if it's even going to be possible with the current hunter method, but I figured I'd give it a shot for Zulrah and see how much of a difference it made. And if we take a look at this damage chart, the difference between the Mystic Row bottoms and the Glory, compared to our current setup, is actually quite substantial. So honestly, this could work, and this could give us a little bit of extra oomph that we need, although it may not be realistic for TirannwnOnly. Okay, scratch this run. Completely messed up my prayers and my positioning. I'm still learning mage only, hell, I'm still learning Zulrah. We'll get him with the next one. And we're off to an absolute ripper of a start. We've absolutely hammered him down so far. This gear, as it stands, is actually making such a big difference. Yes, let's go. We didn't get cucked. Come on. We didn't get rotation 4. We can do this. 180 health to go. Just don't fuck up. Come on. Come on. Yes, that's it. That's it. He's done. Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Zulrah is down. Look at all the food that I have left. This. Oh. I can do it. TirannwnOnly could take on Zulrah before Prifddinas. Holy crap. Oh, up until this point, it was just a dream. Oh, man. Okay, with our current gear, we're going to give it a crack. Now that we know we can do it with the increased gear, if we can smash it out with our current gear, I would honestly get back on the account right now and give Zulrah a crack. So let's see if it's possible without the extra mage bonus. Yeah, unfortunately that mage bonus makes all the difference. We're almost out of food. Obviously I have the antivenoms kicking in at the moment, which would have killed us by now if we're on TirannwnOnly. Unfortunately, it's just not gonna work. We stuck it out as long as possible. We almost had him. I think if we got lucky with RNG, it's possible, but that just goes to show that that mage bonus and that extra gear makes all the difference. We obviously had more invent space, 99 mage. Yeah, with our current gear, our current levels on TirannwnOnly, and being a UAM, it's not going to be possible. So really, it all comes down to Dragon Implings and level 94 Hunter. If I was to go for that gear and to go for that goal, it would take me better part of 1500 hours of just Hunter, of just catching Implings. And although the resources I'd get, the mage levels I'd get would be massive, and honestly it's gear that I'm considering I may need for Seren, but if it's a choice between putting 1500 hours into going for Dragon Implings and trying to kill Zulrah, or 1500 hours that could take me into Prifddinas by the end of that time, Prif gives me access to so much more than what those Implings ever could. It gives me access to the Gauntlet especially, which then I could do range only kills on Zulrah if I get the drops. It's just... Prif is the goal for this account, it's the future of the account, and as much as I want to kill Zulrah, 1500 hours just for essentially lore runes is all that I'd really get out of it, or maybe the Serp Helm. It's just, it's not worth it, and it breaks my heart to do that, to say that. Like, it's so satisfying to get that kill and to know that with the right gear and the right stats that I can get into Ramen, but it's too much time just spent on a side goal that I can get once I reach Prifddinas anyway. Yeah. And one last attempt at Zulrah with the hybrid gear, which I really don't think is going to work, as we miss out on 5 invent spots worth of food, and we come across the Tanzanite phase, which will hit us off prayer. Probably not viable, but I figured I might as well try it and see how we go. And we're about to go down to the snakelings here. Recoil's shattered, but it's alright, we're out of food anyway. We came quite close, and it went a lot better than I had anticipated, but once again, 99 mage, anti-venoms, more invent space. It just won't translate over to TirannwnOnly, unfortunately. And one final attempt, but we got absolutely fisted by this mage phase. I'm out of here. It's alright, it was worth a shot. At least we know we can tick that off the list now. Hybrid ain't gonna work, ranger only ain't gonna work. If we were ever to take on Zulrah, major only is definitely the way to go. And look, when I set out and started the account, my goal was to kill Zulrah, and I can do that with the gear that I could possibly get into Tirannwn. Killing Zulrah is possible, and it makes me not feel like such an idiot when I started this account. Like, I started the account with that goal, and it can be done. So the next one to move on to, I guess, is Song of the Elves and figuring out Tirannwn. This is a bit of a different video, and I know it wasn't as much hardcore progress and footage of TirannwnOnly, but this is something I've really wanted to explore for such a long time. I really hope it answers some questions for you guys, as it has definitely answered some questions for me. We can kill Zulrah on TirannwnOnly if we put in the time to hunt down Dragon Implings. So now that I know that, I can move on. I think I can continue grinding towards Prif, and I can visit Zulrah once I'm inside the city and I can get all of its drops. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for sticking along in this journey. It means the world, and I will see you all next time.